Welcome to the Episcopal Church of the Holy Communion. We're so glad you have joined us for this sermon. You can find all our sermons at our website, holycommunion.net.
These teachings are hard, said the disciples to Jesus as they watched their numbers dwindle back from 5,000 down to the original 12. This whole selection of the Gospel of John begins with Jesus personally feeding 5,000 people, performing a miracle, and then slowly, and we've heard it for 5 weeks now, unfolding the meaning of the feeding. And finally, offering this last teaching, that he was the Word made flesh, right there in the synagogue in Capernaum. These were hard teachings. Jesus' central teaching is that the Word was made flesh, that Jesus was the flesh and spirit, says John. Remember, for John, it's not about the bread. No, it's about God dwelling among us as Jesus. And that reality has all sorts of difficult and hard implications, such as love your enemies, really. You are forgiven, forgive others. Love one another as I have loved you. Wash each other's feet as servants. Feed the hungry with good things. Eat with women and tax collectors and Samaritans. Honor and love the blind beggars. The times in which Jesus taught were tough and getting tougher. People who were drawn to him were looking for someone to save them, to get them out of their difficulties. These teachings were hard because they offered more questions to their questions, struggles to the struggle. Who could blame them for grumbling and walking away? When times are so scary and disturbing and things seem to just be getting worse, these teachings are harsh. I know I have walked away from these teachings in my life. When personal and global events seem relentless in their challenge and tragedy, I have walked away. I wonder, in these hard times today, what is the teaching of Jesus today that you find the hardest? Just take a moment. Think about it. And when faced with following or even understanding these teachings, will you stay or will you go? For instance, what about Jesus' hard teaching on forgiveness? Let's take that one. Somewhere along the way, during childhood, we're taught we must forgive because the adults in our lives tell us to forgive your brother, forgive your teammate. He said he was sorry, shake hands, make up, and forgive. Or with the result that our hurts and fears are somehow to be stuffed, put away in the back recesses of our hearts. Don't carry a grudge. And we learn this is Jesus' teaching on forgiveness. Then as adults, we find ourselves still trying to grasp this hard teaching, trying to apply our childhood version of forgiveness with the reality of our adult relationships. A while back in a clergy group I was in, one priest shared an experience of a woman who had come to him for spiritual direction about this hard teaching of forgiveness. She was struggling with what she had always been taught to understand of Jesus' teaching with her present experience. She told him that her husband had been physically abusing her, but she felt she couldn't leave him, that if she did, she would have failed to forgive him. She understood Jesus' teaching on forgiveness meant that she had to remain with him and keep forgiving him for his repeated abuse. She said, "He's so sorry and begs my forgiveness after he hits me. It's like he can't help himself. I have to forgive him. I'm a Christian. But I'm dying inside. I live in terror. I want to leave him. Is this really what Jesus meant? Could you help me?" she said, "figure it out." Out of her deep commitment to the witness of Jesus, she decided to struggle with this hard teaching. She went deeper into the complexity of spiritual life in Christ and began to move out of a childhood understanding of forgiveness into her adult reality. She listened to that call of the Spirit and didn't make it, to do this, I have to be Christian, I better leave. To leave him means I can't go to church anymore. She didn't put it in that polarized way of being, that duality. She went in. These are hard teachings. Forgiveness is just one of them we struggle with or walk away from. I wonder, which are the hard teachings for you? Let's go back to that. Is it love your enemy? Feed the poor? You are loved unconditionally. Welcome the stranger, the immigrant. Turn the other cheek. Blessed are the meek. Eat with the tax collectors. What if when you found yourself wanting to walk away from a teaching as too harsh or too difficult to understand, you stuck with the discomfort and struggled with it? What if you saw the difficulty of a teaching as an invitation to go deeper? To perhaps see Jesus in a new way in your life. Maybe even see the struggle as the way to wisdom. When the first reaction is, "This is a hard teaching, I don't like it. Let's move on." Or the response, "This isn't my God," or "My Jesus wouldn't say that." What if instead of feeling defensive, we experienced it as a nudge or even an opening from the Spirit and do some homework? This life is hard, and we want answers so that life becomes easier. We want a teaching that will be the solution to our problems. We want the pain to end. Jesus says, "The words I have spoken to you are spirit and life. I am the way. Follow me." The invitation is to follow. And it's a call to continually realign the reality of our human experience, to reorient ourselves and our way of seeing as a way into the Christ who is always with us and in us. To approach these difficult teachings, these difficult conversations, these difficult times as Christ would have us be. Jesus is offering his life and spirit, offering us a life of growing in wisdom by continually grappling with the teaching, the hard teaching, and is offering us the Spirit to sustain us and give us courage to stay with it, even when it's so humiliating and uncomfortable. Jesus is inviting his followers to a life of an expanding heart, mind, and soul. Jesus is inviting you and me to the struggle, to wake up and grow wise. It's hard. It's humiliating. And it takes our entire life. Struggling with these hard teachings is our purpose, and it's the way. So will we stay, or will we go?